What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Gen Report. Yes, it has finally arrived. And based on the reactions from a simple teaser, has the headlines talking about what? I asked Brian.
Gotta say it right, right?
He said, He-Man. That's what you gotta say it. He-Man. That's everybody. That's what everybody's talking about. And now we get the official tissue. Not the fake ones that we've been watching, imagining what this would look like. Now we see what it is. So Brian and
we
I
have not watched it. We have not watched it.
We haven't watched it. I gotta just check to make sure he can hear it before we begin.
You're good.
I bet. Let us begin this voyage from when I said this movie will make $1 billion. Let's see if this trailer changes Brian's mind.
All that stuff that only exists in legends and bedtime stories. Talking tigers, spaceships, and magic swords that can make a man as mighty as a god. Where I come from, that stuff is real. Why did you send me away?
I wanted you to be safe. So I sent you to a place I knew that they'd never find you. There's...
This obsession with nerd stuff and sword things, it's not a good look for human resources.
I know it sounds crazy, but that sword is gonna show me the way home.
Sir, you can't do that.
Don't worry. The sword's mine.
Hang on, it's about to get weird.
What am I supposed to do? Take the sword. You protect them.
Well, they did the line, so that I know how you feel about that.
They did the line. And it failed, yo. It failed. That part of it. Let's see. For me, it just didn't work.
The trailer as a whole?
That they shouldn't. No. That part right there. The stuff that I was seeing visually, I was loving it. Hopes on screen, it brings it all together. Being in the theater on the big screen, but they have, I think, accomplished that goal of taking you to Eternia and giving us a reason to understand why he's on Earth. Because originally, if you have watched the cartoons, his mom is from Earth.
Astronaut.
So she sends him to, yes, she's an astronaut, got lost, and Prince Randor was like, what's this? This something new. I'm keeping this. So, makes sense. I get it now. I like that part. But they should have never done the I have the power joint, yo.
Well, so they did a little so the Earth thing is basically a spin on the Superman origin story. That's what it sounds like, right? It sounds like she's, I guess, sent you where they would never find you. They basically kind of like, as a youth or like a little older, but like as a toddler, they send him away to avoid some kind of tragedy or catastrophe. So that's borrowing a little bit of the Superman mythology for why he's there on Earth. What did you think of? Let's just do it, because I think we know how this movie can work and what it needs to do to work. So this is your first real look at the world and the style of the visuals. So how would you rate that? And then I think also maybe step outside our 80s, children of the 80s nostalgia, and say, like, if you're a casual movie fan who doesn't have like a lot of familiarity with the cartoon, maybe has heard of He-Man, but doesn't really know the cartoon, do you think the visuals in the world did enough here to excite those people?
I think it did enough for them to take their kids and hope that they enjoy this movie. But I think it did enough, yes, for us to go check this movie out. To see it 2 or 3 times, I don't know. Maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe. Because if you take your kids, you go with your peoples. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a two movie watch here, so it can get you some numbers. I don't know about the billion now, but I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I'll say that.
So I think it's effective. I don't know if it's mind-blowing. Like, I think if you're a fan of this, I think there's a lot here that I think you will gravitate toward. So a couple of things that jumped out to me, and you could see it a little bit coming in the teaser, but I felt like they really leaned into it in the trailer, which is, I had asked you this question when we were talking about it, is people forget how many ships and vehicles were in this show, even though it's a sword and sorcery type of premise. This trailer clearly indicates they got that and they leaned into it, because you see a lot of flying stuff. You see a lot of strange looking craft, right? Which is exactly, He-Man used to jump on that like jet ski type of thing, and then the bad guys would have shooting lasers at, like, people forget, like, that's a big part of the cartoon. So they definitely kept that in here, which I think is probably the right move if you're going for nostalgia. I think people would have asked, like, wait, where are the crazy looking contraptions if it's going to be He-Man? So I actually like that, and I think the costume accuracy is spot on, right? The shot of Skeletor is spot on, right? Like, there's no messing around. You can't beat that.
Yes.
And his costume as He-Man looks good. It actually looks better on screen at the end there than it does in the promotional shot where he teased it.
Yeah.
So Tila looks good. Man-at-Arms looks good. Roboto looks a little changed, but good. I mean, they got rid of the sort of like see-through. Fisto. Yeah. And I think Cringer looks good. I mean, I would say, like, you can see it's CGI. You can definitely tell it's a CGI creature. But I would say, like, the green and orange doesn't look so silly the way they've kind of done it. So I think it works. And it looks like Aslan looked in the Narnia movies a number of years ago. So I think all of that works. I guess the question, like I said, is if I know nothing other than the name He-Man, which I think everyone does know, and I see this before another movie or I see this online, where does this go in my, I have to allocate dollars and time to see it opening weekend?
I think first with your kids.
It definitely is family friendly, right? If you look at what's in this, there's no real dark and gritty to it. The violence is very like fantastical. It looks cool. I mean, the punch looks cool. The punch looks cool, like, but it's, yes, you're right. It's very, like, I think this is a PG for sure, like, not PG-13.
I'm just mad that they said the I have the power line, yo.
Yeah, I know.
And if you're gonna hopefully somebody listens and changes it for the movie so that it sounds like the way it's supposed to sound, yo. I don't understand why they, like, if you're going back to the original cartoon characters, that voice, that sound has to sound like it sounded. Like, if you watch it, every time he says that I have the power, that's what the kids remember. Yo, my kid is yo, I asked him, which movie are you looking forward to? He said, He-Man, yo. And that's his favorite part. We were watching the episode and he was waiting for him to transform. He couldn't wait.
Of course, we all did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to debate you a little on this. Okay, I'm going to debate you a little on this because I think this is one of the challenges of this movie because the voices in the cartoon are ridiculous, like ridiculous, including He-Man, right? John Irwin, who voices not just He-Man in that show, he voices like 20 different characters. He-Man is, the delivery makes almost no sense for the way the character looks. I mean, if we're being honest. And so when he comes to say, I have the power, they add that echo effect, they deepen the voice, but it is still his voice, right? You can hear, right? So the question is, Galitzine is younger. He's a younger actor. And you can hear all throughout the trailer, he's playing this as a younger guy.
Yeah.
So the question is, for just the line, does it need to be his voice or should they have actually changed the voice entirely? Because you can tell it's his voice. It's basically an echoed. So I actually give them points because when you see him draw the sword, he is on the bridge. The lightning, it looks a lot more faithful than when Lundgren did it in the 87 version, right?
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying on the voice, but I am asking the question, is the issue really more just that like original He-Man's voice is just not something you, in the same way that like Leto can't really do Skeletor's voice and have it sound not ridiculous today?
I'm not saying copy the voice so that it sounds like that. I'm just saying make it sound grand.
Okay, you want a more depth to it.
More depth, whatever effects that creates not the same sound, but a powerful sound because that was a powerful moment every time he said it. That was the only moment.
That can be fixed in post, though. They could change that between now and then.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
That's the hope. And now that you've given us the line that way, let's see what fandom has to say about this.
Interesting. You're right. They could definitely, like, kind of like how Nolan had to mess with the Bane audio track in Dark Knight Rises. You definitely see movies where they do mess around with, and honestly, the take we get in the movie might not be the take he did for this. Like, so that'll be, it's a fair question. I'm with you in that I didn't want to see the line. I actually would have preferred, there was that earlier shot in the trailer where he's Adam and he's reaching for the sword. That's what I wanted as the end.
That's what you said.
That's what I wanted. And trust us to know what was next. And then they actually did it because they felt like they had to show He-Man. And that's a question. I was like, did I need to see He-Man as He-Man in this trailer? I would say no, but I think I just think there's a lack of trust in the general audience, so they felt like they had to give that. I actually really liked, had they just left Skeletor as he's walking out of the shadows, I'm good. The fact that they showed him using his staff for powers was almost like too much of a giveaway.
Exactly.
It looked cool, but I'm like, I didn't need to see it now. I didn't need to see it now. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to watch it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because
we'll find little things because I think this is one where you're going to see a lot of Easter eggs. But like, I will say, like, I give Travis Knight credit. So you can already see, like, just on my first watch, a couple of details. Sorceress's feather colors. Spot on. Like, it's just like little detail when the bird turns and you're like, the bird is kind of like it's a white bird, but it's like a rainbow bird when it's got magic and all that stuff in the show. Like, so they definitely did pay attention. I wanted to hear, actually, of the characters who didn't talk, I think I wanted to hear Man-at-Arms say something. I was hopeful that Idris would say something.
I think he did.
Oh, did he say? Was that his voice at one point that we're hearing?
When he says protect them or something like that. I think that was him talking to him.
Oh, that's his voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be.
Because it showed him telling him
Okay.
that. So,
Okay.
I'm definitely still very excited to see this.
Oh yeah. No, I like the trailer. For us, the trailer is fine. I think it's, and I think, like I said, the visual, like the transportation to Eternia looks fun. I mean, the world looks fun. It looks different. The castle details look good. All that stuff I'm excited about. I think it's going to come down to a little bit like, you know, they're playing Galitzine younger, right? He's younger than the He-Man you're used to seeing, and Tila is very much the daughter. Like, she's young. Camila Mendes is playing it younger than the cartoon, which was a full-grown woman, right? So I think that's where you're going to be like, will this be okay? Will that work, or will it mess with the nostalgia at all?
Let me just quickly. That's him right there. That's Man at Arms right there.
I just without the helmet, it's throwing me.
You're right. Yeah. Because he's in another scene
where he's shooting the gun, right? Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't look like him, but it is him. And I was like, oh snap! I'm telling you, Idris is dope, man. Idris is dope. But and the fact that he's given, like, you can tell that this is going to be a performer, because you always like Man at Arms. He's the gadget guy, you know. Yeah.
Well, he builds Roboto, right? Isn't that the whole? Yeah, he or fixes Roboto. I forget what the story is, but Roboto is basically his creation.
Yeah. He's the
Wheeljack of Masters of the Universe.
Yes. And Lucius in the Batman.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah. Let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought. Should he have said the line, yo? I think they made a mistake by doing that, man. Let's see. Let's see what happens here, because I think it certainly has the wow factor of taking us to Eternia and seeing what this is. They give a good explanation as to why he's on Earth. At first, I was out, but on the story, I like where we are. On the story, I like where we are. Visually, I like where we are. But they shouldn't have done that line. They just shouldn't have done it. They just shouldn't have done it.
Now, it looks like he actually does know who he is on some level. Because they show him in that store. He's like, this is my sword. So how does he... I thought, and then one of the rumors we heard was that he forgot who he was. But this would suggest he kind of does know a little bit about his origin.
Perhaps memories of him as a child that, you know, when we're kids, we don't, you know what I'm saying? But somehow that this He-Man cartoon that he sees reminds him of what he believes who he is. So even the statue looked more diesel than him, you know. I just don't want it to look like, you know, he looked like a regular dude, you know? So let's see. So.
Well, they're definitely not using, at least in that shot at the end, we had asked the question, would they use some effects to change his appearance? I would say they definitely did not. It is just him in the costume wielding the sword. The sword has effects, but he does not.
Yeah. So. And that's going to be interesting to see.
I was curious. So we did not get it in this. I will say, like, obviously, like the sword play and some of the action, the wire work, which we've seen in the training videos, look good and actually much better than the cartoon where it's so limited. But I was hopeful we did not get one hint of one of his classic powers. I was hoping for one like Easter egg shot of like him running or like lifting a rock or like, you know, like
I think we're gonna get all of that.
I think we are
get all of that.
I think we are
too. But hopefully they deliver on this. But let's see.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what the view count and the reaction on this is going to be, because like I said, it is a really crowded marketplace. This does look very fun. This does look very fun and escapist. It does seem to know what it is, which I think is very cool. Like, you don't see, you know, he's not trying to be Russell Crowe in Gladiator, right? It's like, it's not that kind of movie. Like, so there is a little bit of drama to it, but it's fun drama, and I think that's hopeful. And there's still so many characters. Like, haven't heard Skeletor speak. We haven't seen Sorceress. We haven't seen I mean, you see him briefly, but like no real introduction of Beastman, Merman. Some of the classic characters we know are in this. So
Yes.
yeah,
Which will get. I think for us heads, we'll applaud. We'll be like, oh snap. We'll be like, whoever shows up,
oh my
we're
God,
gonna
there's
be like,
so
oh,
many. Yeah.
we're gonna be like that, yo. If you think about how accurate they're trying to be with this, yo, we're gonna be excited for each. We're not just there for He-Man, yo. We're there for the world.
No, that's why,
You know
and
that they
that's the
created.
brilliance, and that's that's the brilliance of Super Mario Brothers, right? It's like you're going along, you're seeing parts of the game you remember, and then it's like, oh, there's the Mario Kart scene. It's like it's perfectly inserted as like a bit of like, yeah, we didn't forget, don't worry, right? And that's what this movie has to do a lot of. So no, this movie didn't put me off at all in terms of like anticipation for it. I am just very curious to see for the non He-Man audience of a new generation. Did this go into the like, yeah, as you say, mom and dad, like we got to be there June 5th.
Yeah, yo, that's important. That's important,
Yeah.
and I think it is because my son, again, he's looking forward to seeing this.
But you're educating him on He-Man, right? And that's the thing, right?
Certainly.
He has you
But
to
here's the
like
thing.
guide that.
Ask me how many episodes he's watched, and he knows He-Man, and he's excited for when we do watch it. He's watched probably like 3 or 4, man.
Okay. So he's already
Just
in.
3 or 4.
Didn't take
He's
much.
already in.
Yeah.
Didn't take much.
Okay.
So very interesting times. He-Man, yo, we used to talk about He-Man like, I don't want to see this because it's He-Man. And now look at how we're sort of anticipating with excitement to see this world that they've created, yo, because they've hired top-notch individuals to be a part of this, to make it look the way they want it to look, yo. This is, even if it's whack, you're gonna get people like us and people who grew up with He-Man that are in the millions to spend their dollars to go see that. That is a guarantee for those people who grew up watching this. They're gonna make
The time is right for this.
Dope. Yes, exactly.
The time
Absolutely.
is right. We say that the time is right to do this just from the standpoint of we've seen the nostalgia plays work. We've seen the mentality around making a movie like this is at a point where I think we're appreciating the right things, right? Which is that like even the silly, even the things that seem out of date still can work. You know, we didn't actually talk about the teaser to the teaser, but I feel like I do want to mention, I really think that's in some ways part of the best part of this is the lead of showing the 80s TV using the same voiceover narrator. I think was actually really smart to be like, you know, that still works today and matters today. And we're actually wanting you to think in those terms. We're not trying to totally 2026 this. We actually want to take you back to the best of what you remember from 1983 and 1984. And for a new generation to connect you to that, I think that's actually really smart. But I think it's because we're seeing that happen, right? As you mentioned, Mario Brothers, we're seeing other places where these franchises are being resurrected in more faithful ways. And fans are caring about that. Like we're talking about like the Tomb Raider thing. That's an early 90s version of Lara Croft. And people that are positively responding to that are being like, oh, well, they tried. They're trying to make Sophie Turner look just like that character in the game. That's where we are today, I think, in terms of what fans want to see and what movie-going audiences are at least sort of like interested in being like, oh, that's a little different than I'm getting over here. And that's the hope. So at that part, I feel like so far so good. I think whether he can pull off the part and make us believe he's the most powerful man in the universe, that's not an easy task, but we'll see.
Yeah, man. They hit you with Michael Jackson, Do You Remember?
I did. Oh, yeah. I was hoping, we didn't really get it. I did hope they were going to end the trailer with the He-Man. I was hoping we'd get that at the very end. I bet you the theme is in this movie somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere, like reworked. Yeah.
Hopefully it's not corny. Hopefully they do it. Let me give this a like before I forget. Gotta contribute.
There's an amount of corny that can be okay. I can tolerate a bit of it, right? It has to be able to laugh at itself a little bit, not take itself too seriously. It just can't be so goofy that we're like too, turned off by it.
Yeah. It'll be, listen, man, whatever it is, the original live action He-Man can't get any worse. They can't go there. We
That
can
is
only
true.
go up.
That
we
is
can
true.
only go up, Brian. And
That is
they
true.
are up. This is enough to get me to the theaters with excitement, because they're paying attention, they're paying attention. So I cannot wait. It's obvious why this is my number one most anticipated movie of the year. Now, Odyssey is but
I love the balance though for us. To me, that's like the perfect something that is mythological and serious and going for, well, I guess now Sinners has set the new record, but going for Oscar after Oscar. And then this, which is just like, get your popcorn, turn your mind off, except for the connection to the 80s and just have fun. And I love that.
Yeah.
That's, both are reasons we go to the movies.
Yeah, I can't. Listen, man. When as soon as we get off, I'm gonna watch this trailer over and over again, just to see the little pieces, and then go to those guys that do these breakdowns so that you understand what's going on and what they're paying homage to. But there's a lot to obviously dissect in this trailer. I just wish they didn't do that line, They shouldn't have done that line, man. Man, The reason why we do this show is in hopes that some of these guys are paying attention. Obviously, they didn't pay attention.
Again,
Don't
it's trust.
do the line.
It's trust, right? It's like when you believe you have the audience already, you give away less. When you feel like you need to reel them in, you give away more. So.
But here's the thing, Brian. You and I are not alone in we know He-Man. We know it, right? Like I said before, they have our dollars. These are in the millions. You don't have to show it, because who's going to bring that other person that doesn't know about this, doesn't care? I'm going to bring them. You're going to take your friends. You're going to convince your friends. Come check this out. Even if they hate it. Come, I don't want to come alone. I'm telling you. Those are the people that are going to do the work for you, because you and I know that you're going to bring your kids. I'm going to bring my kids. You know what I'm saying? And if you happen to know anybody else that has a conversation about He-Man, which is doubtful, but remembers it and wants to go check it out, this is the opportune time right here. He-Man. I'm telling you, there's a lot of possibilities. Can it make it to $1 billion? I don't know, but like Brian said, 500 million is success.
Yeah, a huge win. They do it. Yeah.
So we'll see where it ends up. But let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought of this trailer. And remember to hit that like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Nerd Gen Report.